Welcome to a wet and rainy Australia, Sydney, Australia. So it's not ideal. I had planned to do some things to my van today. I've had to scrap some of the plans I was going to work on and focus on some more simpler tasks. And so yeah, I went to the hardware store and I bought a few things. Hinges, a couple of small hinges. I'm going to make this so it flips up. Mentioned that already before. Some flat 15mm screws. These are just handy generally for all kinds of things. So those will come in handy. I also got this. Now this is very important. This is something that I've been nervous without, as you can see here. So this is a fire extinguisher, just a small one. Honestly, they're not that expensive. Very, very handy, safe. I'll find somewhere that I can store that and keep that on hand, so if I ever have an issue or a fire or something starts smoldering, or obviously you got to think about smoke in a small place like this as well. So there's a lot of things you got to think about. I also picked up this. I think it's 19 by 19 square. I'd have to double check the sizing on that. It could be yeah, probably 19 by 19, I'd say. So we've got quite a bit of that. I'm going to put a lip along the front here so that stuff can't easily fall off. That'll go down the side as well, so that things on the top here can't slide off. Obviously this will be hinged up. I haven't really figured out how the water bottle is going to stay safe up there. I mean, the lip here will definitely make a difference, but yeah, I still can't really drive with that like that. I'm also going to put a lip up the top here as well. I was going to build this big extravagant shelf and all this kind of stuff up here, but I mean, this still will go across the top here as a bit of a bulkhead with a fan and exhaust. That'll be a bit later on when I get around to. Ooh, man, wind's getting crazy. TV's got to move. I've mentioned that about 100 times. And yeah, but the bulkhead across here, and then down the side here, maybe a bit of a window to allow sort of things to go out. Just enough strength here to basically hold up the bulkhead. So that's what I'll be working on. But today I'll be doing the square. I'll be doing the hinges on this one here. Now I can't really pull out the saw today because I'm not going to cut inside, and I can't really cut outside, so I will be using the hand saw. Easy enough anyway. That's probably perfect. So I'm going to get started onto that. Also, I don't have the little nails that are more suitable for hitting that in. So I am going to go with screws. I'm worried about the splitting, so I'm going to have to do a couple of pilot holes. That's fine. I think that'll work fine. Angled up here especially, it's going to be difficult to get the drill to come in, so I'll have to come on an angle just to get that in. Again, I don't really care. You have to remember something. My goal with this is definitely not to go out and spend a crap load of money and to overspend on something that I'll never get my money back on. This is cheaply done. It's on the nasty side, but it's safe, and it'll do what it's designed for. That's my main goal with this. The thing is, I always hear people say, oh, I can't do that because I can't afford it. Well, I mean, some of this stuff has been pretty cheap. Some of the timber I've gotten from here, you can see this one here, that was, I got 2 of those for free. They were just offcuts from the hardware store. So, if you're willing to ask and you're not embarrassed, it's amazing what you can do. Now, I'm used to doing $100,000 renovations on houses and make them look beautiful, and if it's not perfect, I'll redo it and all that kind of stuff. This situation, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to prove that you can do this. That's going to be good enough. So, I'm going to get stuck into that now, and let's see how we go. So this is a great opportunity to give this a bit of a clean, which I'll do now. And I will be looking at raising that up. There's a whole piece behind there which I can raise up, cut off, and put that at the height of that seat there, so it's just protecting that seat, so the heat and the gas isn't affecting that at all. And this area here, I think I will actually keep it open, so if I ever need to see out the back of the van, or if I have any legal ramifications with that. I have heard that you don't need to be able to see through as long as you've got good wing mirrors. In my situation I do, but I think it would still be nice to have that clear anyway, so that if I need to see out the back, I can. So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and then I'll move on to doing the other stuff. 838. Good enough. And the lip for the cooker area, also not too bad. Not the easiest way to cut, obviously on a flat surface is better, but if I go too far out of the van I'm going to get really wet. So, you know, do the best you can, right? That's all you can do. Obviously I want the wood screws to still have a nice bite to them. For along here I'll probably go with 3 because I want this one to be strong enough to hold things on there that are a little bit more important. Up here I'll just go 2. There is a bit of a curve here, so I'm probably going to go the screws. I'm not sure if I should go maybe slightly in the middle with these screws. So I'll just have to have a look how long the screws are too to make sure it's not going to poke through. If it is going to poke through, then I'll be going on the sides, but I mean, based on the length of the screw, yeah, it's going to be pretty close, I would say. So it might have to stick to the outside, but there is that gap there. But, you know, again, we're not after perfection. Yeah, so normally if I was doing this kind of work, you know, I'd be doing 45s and it'll be perfectly sanded off on the ends and perfectly tidy, and you know, these have, you know, hand sawn, you know, pieces left over, and it's not perfect. But you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and in this situation, you know, I don't have all my tools with me, and I'm just going to make do. You know, maybe if I get the tools in the future, I can always tidy it up and make it look more perfect. But for now, that'll do exactly what I need. So remember how I mentioned the vice grips are always quite useful? Well, we have exactly that situation. So I had to change the angle of the screws to angled out, because as I was kind of thinking before, I couldn't get the screwdriver in there, and I decided that I didn't want to do it by hand. And because of the angle, it makes the edges sort of tip up when I screw them in, and it makes them move out of place as well because I'm coming in from an angle. So vice grips, put something in there just to protect the wood as well, because the vice grips obviously have teeth in it. And now this should, I can try and do this and record at the same time. Try and split, but again, not too fast, but I don't want a big hoary, you know, look about it. Yeah, that's not ideal. That's alright. I mean, it'll do the job. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Alright, now I'm going to move on to securing the gas cooker with some hinges. Now, at some stage in the future, I would like to upgrade this to a proper gas cooker, but I mean this one from the hardware store is good enough. And so before I just had a screw, two screws, one here, one on the other side, that were just basically holding this thing down, and that was good enough. So the hinge is going to go on the back here on both sides, and I just need to check that there's enough clearance here, that there's nothing that's going to, you know, obviously if I'm screwing through this here and it sort of hits into things, you can see there's other screws here that they've put in, and there's no issues because all the mechanisms up here and here. So you've got to make sure that obviously the gas cans aren't going to be an issue as well. So put a gas can in. Try to do this one-handed while I'm recording, and you can see there's enough clearance at the back there as well. So that should be fine. So I'll put that in. I'll give that a bit of a try. So this turned out really well. Really happy with this. The water bottle fits in perfectly and now cannot slide out so easily. I will still drive with this down, and I will need to remove the water bottle to replace this gas canister anyway. So this is not a permanent fixture. But as you can see, everything still works, everything's still accessible on this cheap $60 gas cooker. But the main thing is that you can see on the back here, I have hinges, and there's another runner at the back with 4 screws, because that one's a little bit more important, and most importantly, it flips up real nice. As you can see, that's exactly what I wanted. It sits up on its own, so if I need to clean under here, perfect, I can get to that quite easily. I will find some way that this can lock up here. So for example, if I need to put that up and leave it there for a while and I'm worried about it falling down, it doesn't really seem like it's easily going to fall down, but I'm sure there would be some reasons why I'd need to get that to hold up. Eventually when I put the backsplash in there, I'll make some sort of a little hooking thing so they can hook up there. But this is also going to work as a bench. I can use this here and things can't fall. So if that was able to lock up there, I could potentially leave things here and they wouldn't fall off when I'm driving if it was obviously not ridiculous. I can't put things on here that are too tall. I am looking at some sort of a shoe rack on the end here, so I'm not going to put a piece on the edge there just yet, but that would be something for the future. This has turned out really well. Really happy with this. So simple. This cost me a few dollars to do. A couple of hinges, a few screws, and man, I think this has turned out pretty good. So that's one more thing that is done, and I'm going to say that worked out quite well. Alright, see you soon.